Arvo. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing? Today I'm going to react to this video by kinda Australian. 9 reasons Australia is better than America. And I'm sincerely sorry to any headphone users who by now I've surely damaged your hearing permanently. 9 reasons Australia is better. I can think of a few right off the top of my head. You can go to the beach on Christmas Day. I mean, you can do that here in America too, but you're going to be the only one there, and you're going to freeze your ass off. Kangaroos. Not going bankrupt from healthcare. Let's see what she has to say.
G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Caitlin and I'm an American learning to live down under here in beautiful Sydney, Australia. I've been in Australia.
She got a good voice. She's got a good voice. You got a good YouTube voice. Keep going.
For over 6 months. I've been in Australia before. I've been dating an Aussie for over 2.5 years now. I know quite a bit about Australia that
sounds like she's from Minnesota.
A lot of Americans just don't know. And there are some things that Australia just does so much better than America. So we're not talking about those types of videos where we talk about really controversial topics like gun laws. This isn't going to get into how tipping is annoying. No.
Okay, so we got some unique things going on here, I guess. Although I don't mind the controversial ones. But okay.
I think we could do a lot better than that here on this channel. So grab a Bicky, grab a cuppa, and let's see what things...
I don't know, I could talk about tipping all day long.
Australia does so much better than America. One thing Australia does so much better is having staged driver's licenses over here in Australia.
What does that mean?
You have your L plates, you have 2 different types of P plates that you have to be on, and overall it takes I think about 2 years on average in order to go from your learners up to a full license over here in Australia.
2 years, holy moly. It takes like 6 months here in America.
Now, over in the States, it's a little bit hard to measure because every state is different, but overall the states don't have this kind of tiered system. You have to go get a knowledge test done. In my state of Pennsylvania at 15 and a half, think about how mature everybody is at that age.
She doesn't sound like she's from Pennsylvania, but okay, I believe her.
You can go...
She has no reason to lie that I know of. Unless she's running away from someone. Anyway, okay, that's
written test done and then get your learner's permit, and then you have to clock in so many hours with an experienced licensed driver who I think has to be over the age of 21. They have to be in the car with you while you're practicing. And then at 16, I know a couple people who've gone on their 16th birthday to go get a full driver's license.
Heck yeah. Give me one good reason a stupid 16-year-old shouldn't be driving down the highway at 80 miles an hour. Mostly full license. There are limits on passengers and nighttime driving. Oh, I had completely forgot about that. Wait, is that true? Maybe that's new.
Now in
I grew up in Pennsylvania.
They do have this thing where they print the license. It's actually vertical. It's not a regular horizontal license if you're under the age of 21. But that's it. Technically, it's 16. You have a full license.
Yeah, they do that here in Indiana too, but it's for you know, like beer, alcohol. If you show them a license, you know right away they're under 21 because it's vertical. At 21, you get the horizontal when you're old.
You can do whatever you want, whatever speed limit you want. You're not limited the way you are on L and P plates over here in Australia. Having your L's over here in Australia is really similar to having your learner's permit, but having different color P.
Is that what the L stands for?
Plates, green and red, show not only that you have a more inexperienced driver in the car most likely, but it also shows that this person doesn't quite know what they're doing on the road yet. They have to go a little bit slower. They have a slightly different set of rules that they have to follow.
They have to go slower, like they have a different speed limit?
And because this is displayed on the outside of cars over here in Australia, everybody kind of knows who the inexperienced drivers are.
That's brilliant. Can I just say that? That's brilliant. Obviously, that's important. You want to know. Stay 2 lanes away from me. I'm new to this.
If you're coming up to somebody who has the red P plates on, chances are you're going to know that they're going slower. You're going to try to find some way to get around them when you can.
And you might not get as pissed at them, you know what I mean? They're going 3 miles per hour under the speed limit. You're not going to be like, what the hell? Be like, okay, all right, I'll take it easy on you.
Just one
You're a child.
of those things that you get used to seeing over here in Australia and think, why doesn't America have something like that? Because unless you're in a car that has one of those big giant learning to drive signs, you have no idea if the person in front of you is an experienced driver who's been doing this for 40 years or a teenager who got their license yesterday. So having stage driver's licenses is something that Australia just does better than America. So this next one
Smart.
hurt my soul a little bit when I heard about this. This is the HECS-HELP. So I don't know if it's HECS help, if you actually shorten them that way, or if you say it out loud. I'm trying to find a few videos on it. I'm having trouble with that. But we'll just call it HECS and help for this because I assume that that's how it's pronounced. So HECS or HELP loans from the government compared to American student loans. So I've had horror stories about American student loans. When I first got out of school, I was about $80,000 in debt before you add on the interest. And before I had consolidated my loans at one point, I had 5.
It's kind of crazy to me that student loans have any interest. Like federal student loans. I mean, I do, on the other hand, get that that's... Well, I don't know. I can see that that's how... Well, I'm trying to think of, like, what kind of scenarios people could exploit a loan that doesn't have any interest. Well, I mean, sometimes you'll get like car promotions where they 0 interest loans, you know what I mean? So why is that not a thing with student loans from the government? Why do they need to charge interest? That's like, it just feels exploitative and stupid to young people who are just trying to get an education, which is going to help your country. You want the people to be educated anyway.
Different student loans I was paying with interest from 6% to 10.5%. From my very first job out of college, 60% of my take-home pay was going to my student loans. Luckily, I was living with my parents at the time.
60%.
There would have been literally no way I could afford any.
I mean, they do have these like repayment plans for student loans where it goes based off your income. So, you know, if she wanted to, she could have, and it's like, you know, it's not going to go over something like 30% of your income or something like that. And, but then pretty much the loans just never get paid off. That's the problem. You're just in debt for life.
Anything. Even when I consolidated my loans, it was still a huge chunk of my paycheck that was going to this every single month. And of course, if you miss so much as one payment, they tack on like a $100 to $200 late fee on top of the following month, and it just keeps adding up and adding up. And if you're just paying the minimum and think you're going to be...
Hey, did I mention I'm going to do half this? I recognize this video is very long, which is really cool. I'm going to do half it and come back to it like, I don't know, either tomorrow or next week or something.
Able to pay off your student loan in 10 years. I know so many people who've made the minimum payments and are still struggling 5-10 years after getting out of school. It's almost impossible to get a mortgage, but it's so easy for kids who don't even have a credit score yet to take out $100,000 in student loans over in the States.
That is an interesting thing, isn't it? In fact, it is so freaking brain dead easy. I didn't even really understand what was going on when I was taking out student loans. I don't even, like, they pretty much, the advisor's just like, all right, sign right here in the financial aid office, you know, like, sign there. Like, I don't even remember. Next thing you know, you're $50,000 in debt. I mean, it is a different kind of scenario than buying a house, at least you could say. Because in theory, you know, you take out the student loans and they're to advance your education so that you get a career that can pay back those student loans. In practice, a lot of people don't even use their degree after going to college and getting in debt here in America. It seems to be that's becoming more and more common. It seems like it's crazy. Anyway,
And on top of that, this isn't automatically taken out of your paycheck. You do have to remember you can, of course, do the auto payments that are pretty common nowadays with most student loan companies over in the States. But either way, you do have to remember and make sure that is actually in your bank account on the day that it comes out.
yeah.
Over here in Australia, the government does help a lot with student loans through HECS and through HELP. And these payments are automatically taken out of your paycheck. You don't see it.
I like that. That makes sense. It's like taxes, you know. And there's also a psychological thing to that, which, I mean, on one hand, it's nice. On the other hand, if people realized how much money, I think to myself, you know, if they didn't withhold taxes and people just had to pay the taxes come tax time, you know, end of the year, due date, people would be freaking outraged. So it's a good thing they do withhold the taxes and then, you know, refund the excess. So that's pretty smart. They do that with the student loans. That is really smart. It just seems a little bit more technologically intelligent. I don't know. Like the whole system's a little bit more cohesive over there in Australia. Because there's not even a system like that in place at all here in America.
Kind of similar to the way that taxes are taken out. You don't actually see them being taken out. That's all being done behind the scenes. And in America, you're expected to start paying your student loans about 3 months after you graduate, no matter what. Whether you have a job, whether you have a part-time job, whether you have a job that's only paying like $30,000 a year, it doesn't matter. You have to start paying it right away. Whereas over here in Australia, you don't have to start paying that back until you get a job that pays you over $40,000 a year.
What? What? What if you never get a job? I mean, that wouldn't be good for anybody, but that's crazy. 40,000, huh? Okay, that's a good number. I guess they should raise that number with inflation. But that's awesome.
And again, all that is taken out automatically like taxes. You don't see it coming out of your bank account.
But is it accruing interest as you're waiting, you know, to get the job?
You'll see it on your pay slip, on a statement. And I feel like Aussies don't have the same struggle with student loans. Yes, obviously they're coming out of school with debt, but it's very different to the hassle of dealing with American student loans. Like, I feel like I could do a little like
That, yeah, I like that a lot. That's smart. You know what I mean? Because it's basically saying, hey, go to school here, go to university here, and it's like a promise to you. Like, if you go to university, you're gonna get a job that pays you a reasonable salary, or else it's free. Like, it's on us. You know what I mean? You don't got to start paying back your loans until you get that job. And then even after that, you know, you're finally making that income. They withhold it straight out of your paycheck. You don't have to worry about it. It sounds a lot better.
5-minute video just on the horrors of the student loan issues that I've had to deal with alone. I don't know if anybody would be interested in hearing about my student loan horror story. If you are, let me know in the comments down below. But I know so many Americans who in their 30s and in their 40s are still struggling with student loans from undergrad.
Yeah. Yeah. I know people in their 50s. It's sad. She didn't say anything about the interest rates on the loan, which is, you know, a major aspect to it. So I was interested to know that, but I'll have to look into another video even deeper on that topic because that sounds interesting. HECS help.
Now this one might be a little bit more of a common one, but that is having paid leave, paid holidays, paid sick time, more public holidays.
More public holidays.
Here in Australia, I've already had like 5 public holidays come and go. And
That's
besides
awesome.
that, I've already had to take sick leave. I had to take a day off for
And I know if you are working those, you're getting paid double.
funeral leave over here. And I never felt guilty having to take a day off over here. I remember over in the States, one of my older managers, like she was one of the office managers. She wasn't an attorney in the law firm or anything like that. She was very much a paper pusher. Didn't get along with a lot of people in the office. She gave
I just am hugely distracted by this Steve Irwin little whatever they're called bobblehead dude. That's pretty cool.
me such a hard time for
Okay, back to I'm focusing now.
taking half a day off on a Friday to go help my mom 2 hours over in Jersey to help get ready for a funeral for my great great aunt who passed away. Like, she had me sobbing in tears, like it was the worst thing ever that a legal secretary was taking half of a Friday off in order to go help her mom get ready for a funeral. And I feel like so many Americans have run into a boss, a manager, somebody who has done something like that where they feel so guilty about taking time off that technically they've earned that.
Yeah, they won't make you feel like you've earned it. They'll make you feel like you are, like the whole, I don't know, just everybody there is suffering at your greed to take the day off. Now, honestly, I'm the type of person that I just like don't care. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Get over it. I'm taking the day off. Like, it's my life. Sorry. But a lot of people do feel that pressure, like, to not take a day off. Screw that.
Is their actual right to use. And there might be a couple bosses like that over here in Australia, but I haven't really heard anybody complain about bosses who do that unless maybe you're a casual employee. But even then, casual employees, you're not getting this full paid time anyway. Like over here in Australia, I think it's expected that you use your holiday time, that you plan for it. If you need sick leave, if you have sick time, take it. Don't come into the office with a cold, with the flu. Like, if you're sick, you're supposed to stay home over here in Australia. If you're in America, you could be practically on your deathbed, but you're still expected to go into the office and make sure that you're ready to answer phones and answer emails at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of truth to that. I feel like it depends a lot on the company and like the culture. Different jobs won't give you a hard time at all if you're sick. Other jobs, it's like, and one of the twisted things is sometimes it's like the worst jobs, like you're already not getting paid good. It's like a crappy job, like in like a cashier or something. You already, don't like your job. And they're the ones giving you a hard time about being sick, calling in sick. Like, this job sucks already. What are you You're lucky I'm even here at all.
I've said this in videos before that Australia has so much more of a work to live, not live to work mentality. And that definitely shows with paid sick time, paid holiday leave. Granted, we have no holidays actually planned for the rest of the year, but it's nice to know that the time is actually there. If we want to go spend 2 weeks over in the States to see family, if we want to go to Hawaii for a week, if we want to go to Bali for a week.
How far away? I wonder what the trip is like from, say, Sydney to Hawaii. I don't know why. I'm kind of curious. It's certainly the closest state to get to, huh? I guess that goes without saying. Yeah, because going west would take for freaking ever. You wouldn't do that. You would just obviously just go east. So you bump right into Hawaii. It's crazy that still takes a day and 5 hours. God, no matter how you cut it, Australia is pretty freaking far away from America.
It's so reassuring to know that that extra time is there and that you're not going to be pressured to ignore it and leave it on the table and let it roll over into the next year or completely disappear. I don't know what it is, but vegetables.
I mean, a lot of companies over here will pay you out. Like if you don't use your vacation days, maybe your sick days too, they'll pay you those hours at the end of the year, which is kind of annoying because it incentivizes you not to use them. You know what I mean?
Over here tastes like vegetables and fruit tastes like fruit. It doesn't all taste condensed and
The snozberries taste like schnozberries.
watered down like a lot of the fruits and veggies do over in the States. Unless you're buying that really expensive organic produce over in the States, a lot of the food quality is just terrible over there. Whereas over here,
I could see that because they're shipping it around from, like, you know, you buy oranges over here in Indiana. It's like they're probably from freaking Florida.
it's almost difficult to explain to people back home just how different the meat tastes over here, how different fruits and veggies taste. The food quality over here in Australia is just so much better than it is in America. And I'm not
I'm hungry now.
talking about McDonald's where a French fry has a list of like 20 ingredients. I'm not talking about processed chips and things like that. I'm talking about fresh, natural food. Overall,
What's that?
the
Fresh natural food. What is that?
Australian government has such higher quality for food standards over here, which I think is one of the reasons why I've actually started liking seafood over here. Not just that I'm having it cooked well, but it's just fresher. It tastes better. And overall, even though I haven't had the healthiest
I bet the seafood is great. You know, I don't eat a lot of seafood at all. Like, at all. But when you're down in, like, Florida or something, you know what I mean? It's a lot better. And I could imagine it's that way in Australia, too, obviously.
lifestyle since moving over here to Australia, overall, I do feel healthier in general. And I think part of that is just because of the diet that I've had over here. If we get a chicken fillet, which is what we call chicken breast over in the States, and chicken breast over here are like two fillets combined. Like the
You know, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced filet, but she's got me wondering.
chicken breasts aren't these massive things. Like a chicken like fillet breast over in the States is probably about that big. I'm not exaggerating. I've bought them like that regularly. Whereas over here, like
Yeah, they're pumped with hormones and steroids. Literally. I mean, it's crazy, huh? I bet you that makes it taste worse. I could just see how that like dilutes the meat. It's just unnatural. There's something weird about that, huh?
smaller, you do get a little bit less, but it's not pumped full of hormones and God knows what else. It's flavorful. It tastes like chicken. It doesn't taste like a generic white meat. It's so tough
It tastes like chicken.
to explain unless you've had it in both countries, but the food over here in Australia is just such a better quality than
Okay, I've already been.
it is over
I'll let
in
her finish out this
the
sentence.
States. Now, this one
Okay. I've already been reacting to this for 23 minutes. That's crazy. And we're not even halfway through. But we'll come back to it. I mean, you can go check out her channel, watch the rest of it, and then come back. You know, I'm going to react to the rest of it another day. Kind of Australian. That was a really good one, you know? A lot of subjects that I have not seen discussed before. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.